Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. So do you have any parts you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
Let's think about that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Another way to start is to just think of anything that's been up for you lately, any difficult or extreme emotions.
I guess, I feel like I deal with a lot of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Just around life itself, but also this idea that I'm not doing it right, which I truly do kind of believe. But also, I guess, sort of fear of intimacy or connecting with people, or sort of coming out of my hermit shell, I guess, and
yes,
stepping into the world and doing the quote unquote, what is it called? Putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Especially when a lot of my, say, digital footprint or things that I've talked about with people or what people know me by in their mind that I that kind of worries back to that Cooley quote of I'm not who I am. Oh, sorry. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who you think I am who you think. No, I am who I think you think I am.
I am who I think you think I am.
Yeah. So it's it's a really good quote, but and it's sort of like I hold in my mind all of these versions of myself that I imagine other people see me as, and I feel very heavy and boxed in and limited by these things. Yeah. And there's sort of this concept of if I actually discover my true self, or how you want to frame it, or really start exploring myself, it's kind of going to be this moment of it's this kind of this moment of I don't want to say cringe, but kind of this moment of no, maybe it's fear that people think I'm going off the deep end, or that I'm like losing it, or like that like this isn't the real me and like the other me was like the real me, or like
Yeah.
or like yeah, like that I'm being fake, or that yeah, I guess it's sort of like a somewhat of a fear of judgment around that.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. When I think of fear of judgment, though, I don't really. I mean, maybe it is that. Maybe that is fear of judgment, and I'm like, nah, that can't be it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah. So I just always feel very like boxed in and heavy by like my previous decisions that I personally find to be quite foolish. But they were kind of also like addicting because I could like sort of explore my identity without actually ever venturing into the world, like through the internet and things, and
Yeah.
like never ever having to like, interact with the physical person in like in the context of the identity to have it like challenged or like grow with it or something, anything like that. And so I just like developed like a lot of things that I are kind of like, well, I think I like this, or like I think I'm interested in this. But there are also things that I've sort of stolen from other people or picked up from other people, or I'm like, this thing's cool, or like this trade's cool, or this person's interest is cool. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to obsess over that for like a few months. And that's going to be like my new obsession. And it's going to mold me. I guess kind of like internal family systems, but yeah. So it's sort of like, just like this huge weight of like, I don't like this concept of like, I feel like other people are being themselves or like learning how to do that at least. And I'm kind of over here like cowering in like the corner and like hiding like at every like whenever like the light's on me, I'm like running to like the dark side because I like there's like part of me that doesn't want to be like seen or like witnessed. And yeah, like it's sort of, I guess it's boils down to that fear of intimacy of like, I also heard that this, I don't know, I was like reading, I forget what book I was reading, but it was like talking about how like, it was like like they had some experiment where they had like two strangers, like a bunch of like, strangers like kind of like sit down and like stare into each other's eyes and like trying to like remain like, I don't know, hold eye contact and like kind of like say like what they were experiencing. And it basically was like that they had like a lot of trouble like meeting their eyes. And like they kind of like both experienced this sort of feeling of like, oh, like if I look at this person, then they're gonna see like that part of me that's unlovable. And so I don't want to meet eye contact because that's way too intimate, that's way too vulnerable, it's way too scary. So I'm gonna look away, I'm gonna struggle. And I feel like that's really like the crux of like what's happening within me.
Okay.
I guess it's a lot, but
It is a lot. It also, that there could be one or two parts that you've just seen a lot of different sides of. So
I don't know what you gathered from that, but
well, I took notes, and I guess what I'm thinking about now is how to pick which of those to work with first.
can you
So
name?
what you, well, I mean, I have 12 lines of things I wrote down. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So I could, and I would also invite you to call any of those feelings, all of those feelings, kind of to a conference table.
Okay.
See if you can get them rounded up.
Alrighty.
And just see if one feels like it needs your attention the most.
Okay. I feel like it's a little hard because it's like obviously I have the answers in a way, but you're also not telling me what the 12 things are. Yeah. Okay.
I'm willing to. I just thought that might be an easier, more efficient way to do it. Is just.
I feel like I'd like to hear your 12 things. I feel like that'd be faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you say that you had a fear not just of life itself, but also doing it right. So So I was curious if that's two different things, fear of life itself and then fear of not doing it right. You talked about a fear of intimacy, but then you also talked about a fear of putting yourself out into the world. And I'm curious if that's two different things. Like is the fear of intimacy one-on-one, or is that the same just vulnerability that would be involved in both showing yourself to one person, showing yourself to any people? Let's see. Yeah, your quote about I'm who I think you think I am and how much baggage or heaviness there's around that.
Mm-hmm.
And then some questions about what's the real me? Am I being fake if I'm borrowing, stealing from one or the other, something, people out there? Then I'm assuming that there's a part that there might be the part that's stealing, and then there's another part that says stealing, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be borrowing anyone else's parts. Maybe some fear about previous decisions, digital footprint,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some concern that you're not, because so much of it has been digital, you're not engaging in the physical stuff to a certain degree with people, and that means you're not growing or learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds so dystopian, but it's sort of like, I don't know. It's sort of like that thing where it's like my digital self is way cooler than I am.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Can you like run me by like the first two, like you wanted like those things that you were like, oh, are these similar?
Fear of life itself versus fear of not doing it right.
Yeah, I'd say those are the same.
Okay.
Um, at least like logically to me they are.
Yeah.
If I was like, I got this, and I'm doing this right, like this is how I'm supposed to be operating in the world, and I don't think I
Yeah.
would like have the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
So there's a part that says you're supposed to be doing it a certain way.
Um, I mean, I would say it's more like I don't. It's more like there's a part that's saying I'm not doing. Yeah, there's the part that's saying I'm not. Like it's not supposed to be like this. Like this isn't what life is supposed to feel like experientially.
Okay. Is that the one you'd like to get to know better?
We can start there.
Okay. So this isn't what life is supposed to be like or feel like experientially.
Yep.
Okay. How do you notice it when it shows up in your body?
I would say it's actually like a feeling of wind on my eyeballs.
Okay.
I feel like it's a very unique answer, but
Sure. And is there anything else that you notice about it? Any other sensations or messages that it's sending you?
I guess like tenseness in like the shoulders and sort of like a whole body type of chill.
And how do you feel towards it?
Um, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's that voice saying? What doesn't it like about it?
Wish it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Because it's causing
Extraordinary.
problems, or just
Yeah, it causes a lot of suffering and obsession
mm-hmm. Okay.
and anxiety. And sort of a little bit of like maybe paranoia.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So let the part that wants it to go away know that that makes sense to you. That it would want this part to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And see if you can ask it for a little space. So it'll let you go work with this other part.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Now how are you feeling towards the one who says this isn't what life is supposed to be?
Curious.
Okay. So just invite it to notice you. Let it know you're curious about it. Let it know you got that other part to step back, the one that wants it to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then just ask it what it wants you to know.
Kind of just terrified or like freaking out because I don't really have a particular worldview or stable one. I mean, I guess I do have a worldview, but like I don't have um, like I'm aware of other worldviews and
Mm-hmm.
how other people see things and how like my sisters see things and my parents see things and how other people see things and like how people on the internet see things and sort of like the moral competition of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really have a way of particularly discerning or choosing or figuring out which things I should believe in or do because they all kind of seem a lot of them seem very like good or equally plausible or like,
Mm-hmm.
and then some are like, oh, maybe the next lifetime. That one's not for me. But
Right.
and there's sort of this knowledge or that like that really kind of affects how you approach life and how you interact with the world and other things on like a large scale. And just that overwhelming like knowledge that, you know, one day I'm going to cease to exist is a lot of pressure, I guess, to like perform in life in a sense. And I don't really trust anyone in a sense to tell me where to go or what to do.
Right.
And I trust myself even less. And so it kind of just makes it really hard to function in the world or make decisions or choose who to associate with or who not to, or what jobs to take, what jobs not to take, what morals I don't care about, and what, like,
Yeah.
like what's good, what's bad, like doesn't even matter. And kind of not even wanting to like figure it
Participate
out.
in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I've kind of like exasperated my curiosity in those areas. I mean, not really. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'd be curious about those things, but like
It's
I don't
just
know.
tired of
Yeah,
all that information and all those different
yeah, like
perspectives and trying to
information.
balance them.
Yeah, the information overload is like 120%, and like my mind is just like I don't know. It's sort of it's ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Uh, and like
Okay.
the pressure is like still there, obviously. But it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like what happens when people kind of get tired of like, say, the news cycle or politics. It's kind of like this type of effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this part is dealing with all of these different perspectives, trying to weigh them, getting tired of it, not even sure it's worth doing. And then it has this feeling like this, all of this is not how life is supposed to be, not how it's supposed to be experienced. Is that right?
Uh, I can, I guess I can kind of get to that part. I feel like I haven't really gotten to that part. Um,
Oh, okay. Well, who were we just hearing from, if not that part?
uh, no, I want to say it's still the same part.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't finish because I forgot that part. Um, Sorry, can you like repeat it? The
I was
question.
only trying to reflect back what I was hearing from this part just to make sure that I understood it.
Yeah.
So it started with this isn't how life is supposed to be
Right.
experienced, it's supposed to
Right.
be. And then it started talking about things that it's terrified of not knowing.
Yeah.
I can't read my own writing.
Not knowing in general is probably a good response.
Yeah, not knowing where to go, who to follow, who to ignore, and what to choose, and if it's even worth figuring out.
Yeah. And like, I don't really know anyone else uh,
Yeah.
that is struggling with this problem.
Yeah. So does that all make sense to you when you hear this part saying all this?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Just let it know that makes sense to you. Let it know that you see it, that the way it feels makes sense to you.
Mhm.
Invite it to notice you.
Mhm.
If you want, you could ask more about what it's worried about happening if it doesn't work so hard. If it doesn't try to figure that out or get the right answer.
Um, I will never be able to be decisive, and I'll do nothing and immerse myself deeper in depression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exponentially.
Yeah. Okay. So it's got this fear of if I don't make any decisions, don't do anything, that's when depression will come in and it'll get really bad.
Um, I would say, like, it's more like if I'm not munching on this problem constantly or whatever, then I won't have a good enough chance of getting some type of answer or clarity, which means I won't be able to I won't have a framework to go by, and then I won't be decisive. And if I'm not decisive, then I'll do nothing. And if I do nothing long enough, then I'll be depressed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And has your system had experiences like that where you feel like because you haven't been able to make the decisions, you end up doing nothing and that depression comes in?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So just let it know you see that, you get that. It's a valid fear or concern that it has.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds to me like it's working hard to prevent that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you could just try showing it that. Show it that you see that it's working hard.
Mm.
You see that it wants you to not be depressed.
Yeah.
And see if you can show it appreciation for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it also really makes me sick.
Yeah, what makes you sick?
I guess like not having a balance to it. Like it's sort of like always on.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
always intellectual.
Yeah, and by appreciating it, I'm not suggesting that we should give it more control or that it needs to. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the upside and the good intentions for this part, which sounds to me like it has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the part that's sick of it, that makes sense too, and that was the part that we asked for space. So,
yeah,
just ask it again and let it know that this is just a different way in, a different way to work with parts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine those two parts have fought plenty in the past. There's the part that's been sick of it has been sick of it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
And what would this part rather be doing if it didn't have to work so hard to keep that depression away, to solve these problems?
Spend more time building relationships with people.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting because at first, you're talking about this fear of intimacy, and now here's this part saying if it was freed up, it would like to invest more in that.
Yeah.
Nice. And how old does it think that you are?
14.
Okay. Can you ask it more about that? About why 14? Was there something going on when you were 14 around all this stuff?
I was gonna say no, but I I think I was in like church. Like my parents brought me to like a Unitarian Universalist church with my two siblings. But it also might have been around the time when I went to like my best friend's like communion or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was going on? What was going on in the church or in that other scene at communion that made this part become more activated, or what is it seeing?
Just
That's
utter confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's seeing you as a utterly confused 14-year-old?
Yeah. Well, when I say confusion, I mean, yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, what does the confusion mean? Is there more
Yeah.
to
I mean,
explore
like,
around that?
kind of confused around why everyone is sort of doing all this stuff in the first place and why they look
Yeah.
convinced and want me to join in so badly.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Okay. So yeah, that sounds to me like that's what this part wants to protect. It wants to protect the confused 14-year-old who's wondering what is this group about? Why do they want me to join? And it also has that wanting to protect, if I don't make any decision, then I'll be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. So let the part know your real age.
Okay.
How does it react to that?
I would say it's not reacting.
No?
No.
It's just not buying it, or what?
Um, I don't know. It kind of looks pretty disengaged.
Okay. Is there something about the way that we're being with it that we could do differently to engage it? Is there something it wants us to do differently?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Are there other parts that are keeping it distant? Are there other parts saying, we don't need to listen to this. This part's stupid, whatever.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you have any other insights as to what the disengagement is about?
I think so. Um, hmm. Yeah. I guess I just never really wanted to like grow older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a valid answer here, but yeah.
Yeah, if that's the answer, then it's
Yeah,
the most valid answer.
yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it know you see that.
Yeah.
Let it know that that's okay. That's okay for it to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And let it know that it's not alone. That you're there and that you're able to witness and appreciate and maybe even alleviate some of whatever burdens or just discontentments that it has.
Mm-hmm.
Does it see you in your real age now?
It's a bit more open to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And does it trust you, or what would it need to trust you to go to the 14-year-old, to go to the part that doesn't want to grow old, and to help it out in the same way of just getting to know it, listening to it?
So how to get to know the part that doesn't want to grow old?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just asking if this part,
Mm-hmm.
this one that's wrestling with all these decisions,
Mm-hmm.
if it would trust you to do that.
Yes.
Great. And how do you feel about doing that?
Pretty good.
Okay. Would you like to try doing that in this time we have today?
Let's go for it.
If it's it sounds like an exile kind of feeling or apart, and sometimes that can take a really long time, and I don't know how long that we will have to do that, but when I say really long time, I mean like 30 or 40 minutes versus 10 or 20. So
Okay.
I just want to kind of give you, yeah. And then again, sometimes it takes weeks. So I don't know. I just want to kind of put a flag in that I'm happy to go there. I think it's fine to go there.
Mhm.
If you're feeling like you're in that self energy, you have permission from parts.
Yep.
And I also can't promise that we'll get through every last step with any part.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good with it.
Yeah, great. Well, you could let that part that doesn't want to grow old know that too. Let it know you'd like to get to know it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And does it see you? Does it notice you? Does it recognize you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you notice about this part?
Um, I guess it's sort of terrified, confused, and depressed.
Mm-hmm. Can you see about how old it is?
Can you repeat that?
Can you see about how old it is?
Okay. 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And is it in a particular place? Does it have a particular posture? Is it facing away, or what do you notice about that?
You're talking like visualization type stuff?
Yeah, type stuff.
Okay.
Just what do you see?
I guess like I guess like a young me, just sitting down, back to the wall, kind of like knees up. I don't know how to like express the position here, but
Yeah.
and like kind of arms around legs and sort of like head down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess fetal position would be the answer here.
Yeah, kind of a sitting up fetal position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can you kind of just introduce yourself and ask him how he's doing, what he would like to share with you about himself, about his experience?
Yeah. Okay.
None of it has to be shared with me.
Okay. um. So uh like growing up, um I never really thought my parents were particularly happy people, or that their marriage was good or like meant anything. Like me personally, I guess. And like my dad worked a lot and my mom was kind of just here. And they'd kind of argue about the same old stuff, and nothing would really get resolved, and like resentment would build and it'd kind of go like on and off. But there'd be like a lot of periods of like, I don't want to say peace, but like silence.
Like a stalemate, or just kind of a
Yeah.
Well, I get it. Silence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like my first introduction to what an adult is.
Right.
Even though, I am like adopted, but still. And sort of like kind of have that idea in your mind of like, like I I'm gonna get older eventually. Or like, because they kind of ask you like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up, you know?
Yeah.
And I just I did not really want to do it. Like I didn't look at like marriage or dating or working
Mm-hmm.
as anything that could remotely be positive, fun, or valuable,
Yeah. Or going to
or
church.
anything to look forward to like ever.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I really like it's gonna sound weird. I really like attached myself to the like my childhood room. Kind of like in the sense of like if I'm still here, like then I can't
Right.
be an adult and
Right.
then I'll win.
Yeah.
And then I won't have to do all the things that I really don't want to do based on my
Yeah.
feet.
How's the 6-year-old like being able to share this with you?
Huh?
And show that how's the 6-year-old like being able to show this to you?
Um, I guess kind of enthusiastic.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. Mhm.
Try
And
asking. Go ahead.
oh, um, no, I want you to go.
I was just gonna say to ask what it was like for him. We've heard kind of what the environment was like, but what was it like seeing the silence, hearing the silence, between your parents and um, just being him in those scenes?
Um, Debilitating,
Yeah.
exhausting, um, pretty extremely unhealthy, like isolation type stuff. Um,
Isolating.
Very trapped kind of feeling,
Mm-hmm.
like infinite trappedness.
Yeah. And
And
how do you feel towards him as you see him in that state and dealing with those feelings?
I mean, I'm like, that's me.
Right.
um, but
Well, it is and it isn't.
um, I guess understanding.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. From your adult self, you have that understanding of
Yeah.
of that pain.
Mhm.
Ask him if he feels like you understand what it was like for him.
Yeah.
He mentioned being scared of getting older, and I'm curious what else he felt like he had to give up. Like he had staying in his room. Were there other things that he felt like he would be losing by getting older?
Fun.
Fun. Yeah.
the things that I liked.
Yeah.
My own time, my own energy, my own resources, my peace.
Mm-hmm. And are there parts in you that when he or when you want to have fun or you want to have your own time, are there other parts that are saying, no, that's not allowed, here's why that's wrong, or that's something we can't show?
The time one, definitely not. I am very good with my time in a sense.
Okay.
But what was the other one?
Well, the first one was fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
I do struggle to have fun.
Yeah. And is some of that an internal struggle of other parts saying, well, we can't have fun this way and we can't have fun that way, and this would mean not doing it right, and this would jeopardize our ability to connect with people if we did this kind of fun.
I guess
The reason
you can go with your reason of asking.
The reason I'm asking is just to validate that there were external circumstances, maybe in this 6-year-old's life, and there may also be these internal circumstances, these other parts that are continuing to kind of keep him in that, they're interested in keeping him in that place for some reason, whether that's for whatever reason. So I was just kind of looking out for that and wanting to help you and him see that those are other parts, and you can work with them just as well as you can work with any.
Yeah, I got a question, I guess. Kind of a weird question, but do you think that like this part and like its perspective and beliefs, do you think that it could like, I've just like heard stuff of like when like a kid says like, I want to go, like the kid will like say like certain things, but like they're really like experiencing like suicidal like thoughts. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, like because like from a perspective of like there's no future that I want to look forward to.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I feel like I don't particularly remember having like.
Just ask him. Just ask him if he's ever felt, if that's been his feeling, is that there's no future to look forward to.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't a future that I wanted to look forward to.
Yeah.
That I could like conceptualize.
Right. And so you're able to say now that, well, I don't feel that way so much, but that was how he felt sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how's he feel being able to show you that?
Relieved.
Yeah. Yeah. What would he like from you?
I want to say peace.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't know, like a safe environment that's like stable, quiet, peaceful, pretty even keel. That's the right phrase. But like just pretty like I guess stable and safe, a good space for healing and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh and sort of just you know um I don't know the time and the space to create a future worth living.
Yeah. And but at the moment, does he feel kind of stuck back in that time and place of his?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one thing you can do along the path of making a safer creative space for him is you could go back into his time
Mhm.
and go back into some of those scenes where he was feeling like there's nothing worth living for, debilitated, exhausted,
Mhm.
and be there for him in the way that he needed someone.
Yeah.
And so you could just go ahead and offer that if he wants to do that with you, of jumping back into his time
Mhm.
and providing that self energy and that creativity and compassion where he needed it most.
Okay.
You up for that? Is he up for
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just tell him to take you wherever he'd like to see things change back in his time.
Mhm.
How's it going?
Sorry. Good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Found something to go
Yeah.
change or provide for him back there?
Mhm.
Great. Yeah, and you could just keep asking him that. And even if we were to end the call soon, that's something that you can continue doing kind of forever with parts,
Mhm.
as long as
Yeah.
you are able to stay connected with them, they can keep showing you, well, yeah, there was this other time that I felt bad doing this and that. And you can kind of just revisit that with them.
Mhm.
And how does he like that? How does he like that you going back and being there with him?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Does he feel ready to leave that time and join you or go somewhere else?
Um, I don't know, but I wish he did.
Yeah. Yeah, because you'd like to provide that place for him.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the steps that, so this going back in time thing, that was a step that, I'm kind of truncating and squeezing down to 2 minutes, but often I'll spend 20 minutes with someone doing this because there is so much that they're not quite ready to just turn away from and, shut the door on.
Mhm.
And so it's common for them to not feel real ready to just leave. That's been their environment, and they have some unfinished business, or business that if it stays unfinished, they feel like they're going to stay stuck back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I keep doing.
Okay.
Just keep asking him what it is that you can go back and change and do for him. If there's anyone he wants you to talk to for him, and maybe he wants you to do it, maybe he wants to do it in your presence, you two can collaborate in going back and redoing those memories and those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then invite him out, and when he's ready to come be with you, you can take him to a fantasy place, join you, set up whatever wonderful environment he wants, and bring him into the present.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like that's something that you're up for? Especially, I mean, I'm just saying, if we were to end the call soon, is that something that you feel comfortable doing or choosing not to do? Like, I don't want to just leave you too high and dry here.
I could do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I'm like, what would that do long term? Like, would that make it happen?
Make what happen?
Like, would it make it like me leave that realm?
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah, and I mean, you'll still have the memories. We're not trying to get rid of the memories.
Mhm.
It's really about building a relationship between you and this young part of you, so
Yep.
that he sees and trusts that you can handle those situations. If you were there, it would have
Yeah.
been different. If you were taking care of him, it can be different, and that allows him to say, okay, I have a new home now. I can go be with the grown-up version, the self that clearly cares about me and cares about my feelings in a way that others weren't available to do.
Yeah. Is that whole
And
concept of like aging it up?
his age may or may not change, but he should, the idea is that he would feel unburdened, and
Okay.
an unburdened exile becomes a young part that's in you. It's present, it's accessible. And suddenly, instead of being this thing I don't want to think about and these painful memories, it's like, yay, I have a 6-year-old that I can hang out with and is full of fun things and can share that through me, and all the cool things about 6-year-olds. So it enables you to kind of reconnect with that, enables him to feel safe, being himself, wanting to have fun, and yeah, having
Got it.
that space with you.
Got it. Yeah.
And also, sometimes you go back and do it a handful of times. So I don't want to say like, if you do this, everything's going to be great, but
Yeah.
it's, I think that you can see, like, you say you want it for him. He wants to have fun, and he's trusting you more and more. So it is kind of just,
Mhm.
it's what works, and it's what they want in the long run.
Right.
So does it feel like an okay place for us to stop?
Yes.
Okay. And if you do continue working with him in that way, which you might just do over the next 30 minutes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Feel free to text me or whatever if you have questions. Let him know that we're not going to forget about him.
Mhm.
And so even if you don't do all these steps, we got his number, and now that you've seen him, you will be able to reconnect with him easier in the future.
Right.
And that could be another thing that you negotiate with him, is like, how do I stay in touch with you? Is there a place that I touch on my body? Is there some place that he'd like to meet when you meet with him later? Is there a special toy or something that will serve as a memento?
How does the body touch thing work? Like does it
Yeah.
really activate? Like I don't get like
You know,
the
this
tether.
whole practice, the very first question that we ask people is to find the thing in the body.
Yeah.
And this is a really actually a body-centered practice. So, I can't explain it physiologically, biologically, or anything, but
Yeah.
I know that everyone seems to report like, oh, this thing hurts in my side. And when I touch my heart, it feels different. Or I want to give this part a hug and I want it to live in my heart, so I'm not going to try to like explain that because I don't know how it works, but I know that, we are body animals. So it would make sense that that's where stuff is.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Any questions? Any questions from this young part? Any concerned parts have anything that they want to bring up?
I mean, I don't know. Just curious about my first episode.
First episode?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
I don't know. You said you were gonna like publish it soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I already did.
You did?
Mhm.
What?
You don't listen to every single episode?
No.
Well, all right. Well, now you have double homework. You got to work with this exile and listen to 250 hours of me stumbling my way through this.
Yeah. You do have a brilliant intro, though.
A brilliant what?
Like intro for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. That was the first time I ever made anything like that. And I'm proud of the work you're doing here. You're doing a great job. If you have concerns about what was published, let me know. If you have questions about working with this part going forward, let me know.
All right, sounds good. Yep.
Okay.
Check it out. All right, bye.
Have a good day. Bye. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Jovan, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.